Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today it's the 1968 Kennedy half. And the Kennedy half from 1968 is kind of an odd duck half. We see that there's a D here, and it turns out that there was only one circulating Kennedy half mint in 1968, and that was the Denver Mint. We look over here, we see some little chips in there, and you can see this is almost the exact same size as a coin. And so what happened was this one got hit pretty hard at the mint by another coin from at an angle. The Denver Mint in 1968, they made 247 million of these, which sounds like a lot, except they didn't make any at the Philadelphia Mint at all. So this is the Kennedy half. It's a 40% Kennedy half, 40% silver, 60% copper. It says Liberty at the top. In God in front of Kennedy under his chin, we trust behind him, or in the truncation of his neck, is a D here, and then the year 1968. And if we tip it way up, we see a G and an R there, and that's for Gilroy Roberts, who was the engraver of this coin. This coin first came out in 1964 as a 90% silver coin. You notice that 1964 doesn't have a mint mark on it, front or back. But this is a Philadelphia coin from 1964 with no mint mark, because Philly did not have a mint mark. However, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, all the half dollars didn't have a mint mark, or none of them did have one. They decided not to put mint marks on the coins, so from 65, 66, and 67, no mint marks. When they came back, they only came back with the Denver Mint and the San Francisco Mint. And the San Francisco Mint coins from 1968 on were only proof coins. So no Philadelphia Mint from 1968. It's hard telling exactly why. Let's take a look at the back of this coin. It says United States of America around the top, $half here. We see it says E Pluribus Unum in this banner above the eagle's head. The eagle's holding an olive branch in one claw and some arrows in the other, and then right down under its left claw, or on our right, is an F and a G for Frank Gasparo, who was the engraver of the back of these coins. This looks a little bit like a die crack, doesn't it here? And I think it probably is. So we probably ought to save this one out. I hadn't seen that before, but I don't think this is just a scratch. You get a die crack, sometimes people like them better. It's kind of an error coin. It's not going to be hugely valuable, but this is kind of an interesting one because it kind of cuts through there. So we'll probably keep that. Can you tell the difference between a 40% silver and a 90% silver? Let's tip them up. Maybe you can see a little copper in there. It's hard telling because the silver tarnishes too, and sometimes it tarnishes to a brownish, but this is a 90%, and this one over here on the right is a 40%. Well, why did they not make them at the Philadelphia Mint? And better yet, why didn't they just make some at San Francisco Mint and not put a mint mark on them? Because these mint marks come after the processing of the rest of the coin. So the mint mark, if they just skipped it, wouldn't that be a Philadelphia coin? Well, no. The U.S. Mint says that the coins that are meant to produce at a certain mint have to be produced at that mint. It's part of our monetary policy. So they're not allowed to just leave a mint mark off and call it a Philadelphia. All right, so what about the quarters for that year? Well, there's a D. There's a Philly, no mint mark, right? There's an S. What about the dimes? Well, there's a no mint mark there. There's a D, and there's an S there. So Philly, Denver, San Francisco. But if you're looking at the 1968 dimes, remember that there was a no mint mark proof dime that's worth about $50,000 that came. So if you ever get a 1968 proof set, make sure you see whether there's a mint mark on there or not. If there's no mint mark, you have a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars almost no matter what the condition. Of course, they made all three of the nickels. This is the S and the D. I didn't stick the Philly in here, but there is a Philly. So they made 3 nickels. They made 3 pennies. There's the S, there's the D, and there's the Philly no mint mark. So they could have put one out, but they didn't. And for whatever reason, they decided not to. There's no way to tell them. But what it did, though, was kind of bumped up some of the values. So this 1968 from the Denver Mint, if you can get this in an MS-68, it's estimated to be worth $15,000. The only known ones are 4 MS-67 pluses that are worth over $5,000. If you can get the San Francisco Mint, with the S here on the half, there was a proof coin, proof 70, deep cameo. They found 16 of those, and those are worth $15,500. So there are some really valuable half dollars out there. So look for them. In 1969, again, they didn't have a Philadelphia mint mark, and in 1970 on the half, again, no Philadelphia mint mark. So for 3 years, no Philadelphia half dollars, and that is 68, 69, and 70. And before then, from 67, 66, and 65, no mint marks at all. And then you go all the way back to 64 before you have the mint marks of the Philly and the Denver mint marks on the coins. All right. Well, that's all we have today from DC Cornwall International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comment section.